So it doesn't actually say what company, but there was this headline: CEO of self-driving truck company rejects Teamsters demand for human operators. And I love it. And then, Fetterman here, the guy who doesn't love this guy? Like, he's the one wearing the Carhartt sweatshirt into the White House and stuff.
Yep.
He's like, I fully agree with Teamsters. Self-driving trucks should always be supervised by a qualified professional to keep our roads safe. It's a necessary partnership for America's highway and economy. And there's some really good comments here. So Sheil, who's like big account on X. I don't know if you know him, Arjun. He's an investor.
I used to sit next to him, at 500 Startups. He's
okay.
Nice.
Amazing.
Oh, really? 500?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So he's like, sure, until the self-driving trucks companies can provide the DOT data that self-driving trucks are safer than human drivers, that makes sense. But as soon as we know that for sure, that self-driving is better, wouldn't it make any sense to have people say they're doing nothing, right? So I think a lot of people picked up on this kind of sentiment that, like, maybe the term like always is a bit dramatic here. And like, I understand his constituency and where he's coming from, as a senator. But I was just curious to hear, but actually both of you, what you guys think about this.
Yeah, I mean, there's another use case here that we didn't really talk about, but supervised how and by whom. And, a lot of times you can be supervised by a human that's sitting in front of a screen, but is supervising 6 trucks, right? And so there's a great company out of the recent EF batch called Crewline, which is allowing people to remotely operate heavy machinery. So I think of them for this. So I think there's a lot of different ways to do that, basically.
Yeah. I think Arjun.
Paul, what do you think?
I think Arjun nailed it. It's just, the future is obviously not going to be 100% replacement. It's just going to be one person monitoring 15 trucks.
Yeah, I always thought the human intervention piece, I think it'll exist in all these things like in our lifetime. I don't want to say forever, but because like I just see a lot of scenarios where, okay, self-driving truck, it all works, and then there's like a big snowstorm or something, and they can't totally solve it, and so they just need to like flip the switch, and there's some guy in Arizona or whatever who like is able as needed to get out of the snow. I find that to be more like plausible with like personal cars and stuff. I mean, this exists today with drones, right? Like drone operators like are sitting somewhere. So we know the model like works, and then they have some form of automation, right? Like the drone.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding of like a military drone for the United States, like it flies from the U.S. to the target, wherever that is. That's all automated. It just heads out there. Yeah. Once it gets there, it notifies the guy. It's like, hey, I'm within range, and then they
flip it on. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think there's I see that, like, let's call it model being adopted across a lot of these types of like automated things. And then Paul, you hit the nail on the head, right? Like, does it mean like one driver is driving 6 trucks, or they're just not necessary to be in the truck doing it? Although the one thing I'll add here that isn't brought up on this discussion. So when the whole self-driving truck narrative really was popular is about 7 or 8 years ago in the first election with Trump and Yang, and Andrew Yang was big on this. And one of the things that came out was that the driver is required to unload the truck. And like, that was one of the reasons they came up with like why it would be very difficult to automate the trucking part, because you still need a driver to like unload the truck. Where like a private car and taxis and buses, there's a lot of other like use cases out there where some form of automation seems to like fit better with the current use cases.
Is that a regulation, or is that something around, is that one of these things that's been in, written in law in perpetuity? Because back in the day, you need to make sure the person responsible for the stuff is the one who's actually taking it out. So there's not, whatever. Something inappropriate in the back, right? Yeah.
There must be some union thing about like there must be 2 people, 1 person supervising. A lot of engineering work is like this, right?
It's similar to this, right? Yeah, exactly.
Have to have 3 person on site.
Yeah, we'll have to do some digging on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It
curious
does sound
why
like
that rule exists. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the guys at the store can't unload it.
Right. Yeah, it's got to be the driver who unloads it or something like that. This would be. I'd be curious to dig onto the history of that regulation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The real problems is always like in the integration points, right? It's the unloading into the truck and
Unloading,
offloading into the truck,
Yep.
exchanges. That's where usually everything breaks down
Yep.
and automation can fix.